So David Gutiérrez from Chile is one of the most influential young recorder and whistle players in Latin America. He has performed in various countries around the globe and various venues, including the prestigious Auditorio Nacional of Mexico City. Having developed a great versatility, knowledge, and mastery in different musical languages and styles, has influenced his unique style as a performer of multiple instruments. He obtained his bachelor degree in musical interpretation on recorder with first-class honors, and received the title of soloist in recorder with maximum distinction at the Pontifical Catholic University of Chile. He has a Master in Arts in Irish Traditional Music Performance from the Irish World Academy Music and Dance in the University of Limerick here in Ireland, where he is currently doing a PhD. He's a PhD candidate. So I'm not saying that. And now, without further ado, I would like to hand the floor to David Gutiérrez.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much, Mireia, for that lovely presentation. And first of all, I would like to thank as well Vlad, Jonit, and Carl, and all the team of Hipster Ireland that invited me to come here to do this presentation to you all. I'm delightful to be here, really delighted, delighted to be here. Speaking about this, speaking about some of the music that I am most passionate about it. So thank you very much. Well, that was a lovely introduction, wasn't it? Like it's music from the Andes, from the Andean region of our land, that is South America. You can notice a lot that it is community music. It's music that's not made alone, just by one player. It's made by sometimes 9, 10 players, 11 players, and with a different kind of paradigm that we have in classical music or European influenced music in terms of articulations, in terms of tuning, in terms of tone, of sound color. If I show this video to maybe a classical flute player, he would say, "Oh, it's so out of tune." But these people have their own system of tuning. These people have their own system of scales, their own system of modes. So we'll hear. Well, it's impossible to speak all about this music in just 1 hour. So I'm going to try to summarize as better as I can this music and the Andean cosmovision. Okay. So please feel free as well if you want to ask me something, or if I am explaining anything. If you want to ask me at the moment, whatever you want, don't hesitate to do it. Okay. So I will start sharing a PowerPoint that I have in here. Can you see it? Yes. Okay, so this is for what we came here to try to get in touch, what we can do with the recorder and what we can do with the tin whistle in Andean traditional music. But what is Andean traditional music? What countries are in the Andean region? What kind of music they do? What kind of rhythms they have? So many questions that seems impossible to explain in just 1 hour, as I said. But I will try to do the better to explain very fast each thing. So, well, here we have the first picture. You can notice a guy playing a wind instrument, just taking a rest after pasturing the sheep. On the second one, we have the beautiful Andean instruments that I will be explaining afterwards. And on the other one, the recorders and the whistles. Those are one of my own instruments. Okay, so here we go. Oh. So the Andean countries, what marks them is the Andes mountain range. It's one of the longest mountain ranges in the world, and it goes from the south of Chile till Venezuela, at the north of South America. So the Andes countries are Chile, where I am from. I am right now here in Chile at the, you can see the blue countries over there. The narrow one and longest one, that's Chile, just beside Argentina. And I live in the middle in Santiago, the capital city. So I am Chile, Argentina. If you go up, then you have Bolivia to the right, and to the left you have Peru. Then you go up, you have Ecuador and Colombia, and then Venezuela. Okay, so those are the Andean countries. And as you can notice, it's so difficult to summarize like the Andean music, it's all the same. No, Andean music, it has too many styles and it has lots of different rhythms, but we will try to get in touch with just one term of Andean music, just to be able to get to know what is common between each countries in terms of their own music. But what they do share, besides the Andes Mountain region, is the cosmovision that they have. So, the Andes and its cosmovision, we have to understand it a little bit just to be able to go up in this music. So the most important civilization that the Andes had was the Incas. They come from Peru, and they expanded themselves to Chile, to the south, and they expanded to Bolivia, to Ecuador, Colombia. They were a very, very big empire until 1533 after Christ. And much of the music that Andean traditional players play, it comes from the Inca civilizations, like lots of dances that they play. It's very, very early music. So we are talking about here like real early music through oral tradition, okay? So dances like huayno, carnaval, anything, they come before it's pre-Hispanic music, okay? So they have this vision of the earth as mother and an absolute part of the society. They think as the earth as a person with some consciousness. So the earth breathes, the earth laughs, the earth hates sometimes, the earth loves. So one as a human being has to take good care of it and be thankful to the earth that it gives everything. And so the music from the Andes is very earth music. It always goes down. Sometimes when I confront it with Irish music, that Irish traditional music, for me sometimes Irish music is goes high, doesn't it? It jump, and everything as slip G goes up, a jig it goes up, and the music goes down. Three planes of reality that they have. They have the higher world that they call the Alaxpacha, the celestial deities, like the sun, the moon, all the cosmos. They have the world of the present time, where we are here and now, and the inferior world, the Ukupacha. They don't think the inferior world as the Hades, like, or the hell. No, the inferior world is the earth. It's the creative force that we have, where the plants grow, where the plants eat, where the sheep eats, where the llama eats. So it's not about like if we get punished, we go to the inferior world. No, the inferior world is the important one for the Andean people. Okay, so this is just a quick overview of the Andean cosmovision. We could do a whole conference just speaking about this topic. It's a beautiful topic. It's very passionate about how they think about the world and the human being as part of this mother Earth. In the picture, we can see an Aymara guy just giving a kiss to stone. Okay. So the Andes and its music, we can separate it in three different periods. So we have the pre-Hispanic music, which was mainly because of archaeological research, was mainly of wind instruments and percussion. Here in South America and all the Andes regions, we have a whole world of flutes and fiddle flutes and transverse flutes. So the wind instruments were the main ones before the invasion of Christopher Columbus. You could have, like, did you see in the video, like there were 10 people, or I don't know, maybe more, playing this instrument called tinquillo, and there was a drummer. Well, that's a very, very old kind of doing music. So we just wind instruments and percussion. Afterwards, we have the mestizo music that came after Claudio Pizarro, Francisco Pizarro, sorry, Claudio Pizarro is a soccer player, sorry, it's a Peruvian soccer player. Francisco Pizarro invaded Peru, and he brought with himself lots of different instruments, like the fiddle, we have the plaque string instrument, maybe the Baroque guitar, or the Renaissance guitar, sorry, it wasn't Baroque at the time. And it was a whole revolution, musically speaking, for the Incas. So they met there the guitar, they met there the fiddle, they met the harp afterwards. So, and those are instruments now considered absolutely traditional. The harp is a traditional Indian instrument, the guitar as well. But it was after Christopher Columbus invasion. After that, even, I don't know if you have ever heard about an instrument called charango. Charango is a very tiny instrument, very similar to a guitar. It's like a mix between a guitar and a mandolin, but done from the skin of the armadillo. And it was invented because the guitar was very expensive for the Incas, and the guitar was considered something like, to the elite, to the Spanish people, like something I can't afford. So a guy invented for himself this little instrument called charango, and now the charango is one of the mainstream plucked instruments of Andean music. And we have as well contemporary Andean music ensembles, and they are now including brass instruments such as saxophone, trombone, French horn, like the same video we saw before, people marching over music. It's done now with brass instruments, clarinets as well. So yeah, they have expanded their sound system, but the same rhythm and the same tunes they are keeping. And we have to notice, of course, as well, that different music and rhythms are depending on the country. It's like when we speak about, I hate that term, but it's I would say when we speak about Celtic nations or Celtic countries and Celtic music. So Celtic music it's very different depending on the country. The way the music is made in Ireland, the way the music is made in Scotland, the music from Galicia, the music from Brittany, it's very different music. But you can join them in a common kind of hilo. How do they say hilo? I forgot the words. But you can thread. Sorry, you can join them in a common thread, and it's called Celtic music. Well, almost the same happens in here. The difference is the music, I think, and you can argue with me later, but I think the music is more similar in terms of rhythm and dances than in Celtic music. Okay, so but yeah, it's very different depending the country. But I noticed I noted in the PowerPoint the connection to the 3/4, the metric 3/4, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Each country of the Andes region of South America has a very strong 3/4 metric instead of the European 4/4 metric. Okay, so if any of you are not musicians, the 4/4 is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's like a march. Instead, in here we have a lot of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and a lots of variation of that 3/4. Okay, probably we have that influence coming from Spain. Spain, we have in Galicia, for example, the Jota gallega. The Galician Jota is also as well in 3/4. Fandango as well. So, but in here it's used in a very different kind of making. For example, we can mark. Can you hear this? Can you hear this? Can you hear this? So, for example, you can do very typical. It's playing a bombo or after. And each one of those variations of the 3/4 represent different dances. Okay, everything clear from here? No questions? Good. Okay, I will continue then. So these are a few dances that we can find in the countries of the Andean region. You can notice that Peru is the one that has the most, and In Chile, we have loads of more dances than those two, cueca and tonada, but they are shared with the Peruvian dances. If you go down in Peru, in the number, Huayno, where is Huayno? Oh, I think I'm getting number 10 maybe. Well, I know that's no, the Huayno is not right. Well, one of the main dances in Andean music, it's not written there, but it's called Huayno. Huayno, H-U-Y-N-A, Huayno. So, and it's a very, very common dance, and you can find it in the whole Andean region, and you can find it with different names. For example, in Peru, it's called Carnavalito. In Bolivia, it's called Carnaval. In Ecuador, it's called San Juanito. In Colombia, and in Venezuela, we had the Joropo. So it's the same dance, but with different names, sometimes with different instruments as well. So this is a lovely graphic charts that we can see the different Andean dances in the Andean region. So yeah, like I said before, we could spend the whole hour just speaking about each one of those dances and sharing you like examples of each of those dances, but well, for another occasion, okay? So what we came here, we came here to speak a little bit about the recorder and the tin whistle, and what we can do with those instruments in Andean music, and what has been done with those instruments. Maybe, I don't know if any of you that are here, you already play whistle. Maybe yes, or maybe not. Well, but if you play whistle, you will notice that the whistle comes with a way of playing. You know, when you learn whistle, you learn with it the Irish tradition of playing, the Irish tradition of articulate the notes, of blowing, of music making. But whenever you play another tradition, you have to forget that a little bit and enter into another world of music making, and to think other possibilities that your instrument can do. Like music is really a system of languages. It's not only one language or universal language by itself. It's just a big system of languages. So whenever you want to learn any specific kind of music, you have to learn that specific language. If you want to learn Andean music, just to give an example, you have to learn Spanish, or if you want to learn Irish music, you have to learn English, whatever. Yeah. So wind instruments in Andean music, we have here the quena, the ocarina, siku, pinquillo, y antarca. I just mentioned 5. We have much more than that, but for me, I think those are the most important ones. Okay. Sorry, I just was giving an example about saying that you should learn Spanish. You shouldn't learn Spanish if you want to play Andean music. Like it was just an example. So the quena, this beautiful instrument that I have in here, the quena, is perhaps the most important wind instrument in the Andean tradition. Just like the William pipes in the Irish music or the Scottish pipes, the quena is the queen of the wind instruments in the Andean region, and each instrument try to emulate the way of play, the way of that the quena plays. Okay, so it's just like Irish music. When you play Irish music, I am whistle player, flute player, so you have to learn how the pipers play. But you have to learn as well how the singers sing, how the singers they do all the ornamentation, how they articulate the lyrics. So exactly the same with this music. You have to learn how the quena plays. If you want to play the whistle, this music with the whistle or the recorder, you have to learn. But you have to learn as well how the singers sing, how they do all the ornamentation. So this is the quena, just a few pictures of it. It's considered one of the oldest instruments of history, uh, perhaps the oldest. So at the left, we have a very standard quena that was done right now. But the third picture, you have there a quena made of cane, a very old quena found like, if I'm not bad, like 4,000 years before Christ. Okay, it's a very old quena. So it's not an instrument that the Incas invented. No, it just came a lot of years before them, and some of them have just have three holes. The hole at the upper that it's over there sometimes was used just to hang the instrument. They have a nail in here, so they just hang the instrument in the wall. So that's just the use they do for that little hole at the just closer to the embouchure. There are lots of myths, lots of stories about how was the cane invented. Nobody knows for precisely where was invented or who invented it, but it's an instrument very close to the human being. It was made of bones. It was made of canes. It was made of mud. Yeah. So whenever the people wanted to have some peace after working, after shipping, or whatever you were doing, they hung this instrument and started to play a few tunes. The oldest quenas, they don't have the standard tuning that we have today. They have their own tuning, usually in a pentatonic scale, but not the same temperament that we have today. One of the stories of the quena, just to speak it briefly, it's a legend. It's an old legend saying that there was a beautiful woman in that period of time, and two men were in love with her, but she just loved one. So one day she had an accident, and she was going to die because of the accident. And the other one, she wasn't in love of him, just approached, and while she was tearing, grab a cane and pour her tears inside the cane and tapó, how you say, and close the cane with the tears of that woman. So the other man came in and he was very angry about it. So he stole the cane and just opened it and blow inside the cane just to get rid of the tears. And it made a sound like the woman was crying. So he said, every time I play this, I hear my beloved one crying on this instrument. So well, that's one of the legends that we have about the quena. So the last ones, you can see there are different shapes and different, how to say, sizes of the quena. So we have the quena, but we have the quenacho as well. It's like very similar to the whistle, but we have the low whistle, just exactly the same. It's tuned in G, okay, but the quenacho, the longest one, is tuned in D. And down there you can see the black one. It's from the Chinchas Empire. It's very different from the other quenas. It's more similar to an ocarina, but it's considered one of the oldest quenas as well. It's a beautiful instrument, very ornamented. Okay, can you please show video number 2? Thank you. I lost my, oh, there it is. Yeah, and well, there you could hear that was a wino. The guy was playing a Guainito. It's a very beautiful dance. It has lyrics. You can notice that it goes sometimes up the notes. It's because it's sung like that. Okay, so all the ornaments that he does with the quena, it's because of the singing of an imaginary singer singing that song. The quena is an instrument that has been famous now worldwide. It's played all around the globe, and there is a good friend of mine. I consider him like one of the best quena players around. He's just fantastic. He's called Leonardo Garcia, and he always tries to mix the quena with other cultures and bring the quena into, for example, Korean music, bring the quena into Malaysian music. What I try to do with the recorder, he does it with the quena, and he does it in a very incredible way. So I will show now a video of him playing with an ensemble in India, I think, or Malaysia, playing an Andean tune, but it's an Andean tune in 7/8. It's like it's 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. That's the metric that we are going to hear. It's playing in quena, but you will hear as well some Indian instruments, some cello, and some guitar. Okay, so he's just fantastic. What he can do with the quena. So I got two quenas in here. They are made of cane, so same pitch, but the quenas, they respond a lot to the player as well, and to the not to quenas never will sound the same, okay? And they have a very strong sound, different from the whistle. The whistle has a very soft sound, a recorder as well, but the quena is louder. Can you hear that? That is a very loud instrument, okay? So in an Irish session, if you play quena, you will hear yourself. Okay, I will continue with the presentation here. There you see it? Okay. Afterwards, we have the siku or zampoña. It's a very similar to the flauta de pan or pan flute that we have in the Greek civilization. It's made of different tubes of different sizes, and well, sometimes they have all the tubes. They have different sizes, but inside them they have like kind of limits that define what kind of tone are they playing. If you can notice in the last picture, the guy playing to the left, all the tubes have the same size, but they do different notes, okay? Because all the tubes are like blocked inside or with wood. It's a kind of a ritual thing to play a siku or zampoña. It's not a soloist instrument. It's an instrument you have to play with a lot of people, because, for example, just have a quick example about this. You have a group of 15 players of zampoña, and or 16. Okay, to do it better, 16, and you divided them in 4. Okay, so you have one here, and 2 here. And if you are playing the ta 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 ta, you have lots of notes in there, but you have to divide all those notes between the 4 of them. So 2 notes there, 2 notes there, 2 notes there. So whenever you hear that music, it's music like sounds like it's surround music, okay? So that's how it's played, the siku zampoña. Hello, blacks. Afterwards, we have the ocarina. That's one of my favorite instruments. The ocarina is found in loads of civilizations around Asia, Africa, Europe, but in South America as well. So we have the one in the left is the Aymara ocarina, very representative from the north of Chile on the south of Peru, and it is this one in here. It has a very soft sound and a very mellow sound. I will try to play a little bit. Okay, that's an Aymara ocarina. And we have afterwards, you can notice this one in here, that is influenced by the Italian ocarinas that came with Italians that invaded Argentina. It sounds like this. Okay. We'll speak a little bit later about the vibrato and other technical stuff that you have to use when you play this kind of music. But this is the ocarina. And afterwards, we have the Andean whistle. Okay, so we have the tin whistle that's a triple flute instrument. It doesn't require any lips embouchure, and this is her or his Andean sister or brother called the pinquillo. So the pinquillo is just like the quena, but for lazy players that don't want to work their embouchure. It's made for them just to blow inside them, and the instrument will sound. Okay, it's not as easy as it sounds, because it has its own sound as well, a very representative sound. And when you play the pinky, you always have to play the higher notes, the harmonics. You don't play the fundamental tones. You don't, if it's in G, you have to play the second octave G, the second octave A all the time. Okay, that's the way it's traditionally played. Nowadays, you can hear it played in the lower octave and doing lots of different music. But if you want to play traditional music, you have to play always in the higher octave. Okay, any questions from here? Is everything all right? Everything clear? Okay, we'll just continue. So I would like now to compare a little bit and how I immersed myself into this kind of thing of playing the recorder and playing sorry, excuse me, I forgot. I will go, yeah, I have an example of the key. The next video, please. Number 4. Okay, thank you. Now, so the comparisons between the Kena and the recorder. So if there are some recorder players in here, they know that the recorder, the alto recorder, is an instrument that if you close all the holes, it's in F. Okay, so if you play the diatonic scale, it will do an F major. Okay, F major. But if you start from here, and you play here, you can do a G major scale, just the same as the Kena player does. So that's a G major, and the Kena starts in G. Okay, almost same fingering. It's an open whole finger here. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Okay, the Kena has here a hole for the thumb finger of the left hand or right hand, depending on how you play. Okay, so it's very similar, but what makes the difference is the sound of it. Okay, so can you please play the video of myself playing the number 6, or number 6, sorry. I was going to jump number 5, and I want to show video number 6. Okay, thank you. So yeah, you can notice there that I played an Andean tune on my recorder, but I base my I base my way of playing hearing loads of piano players and hearing loads of singers trying to emulate that kind of ornamentation and that kind of phrasing and that kind of sound, that paradigm of sound that they have. Okay, so if you play, for example, Baroque music on the recorder, the vibrato is just an ornamentation element, just sorry my English, or ornament element that used to emphasize maybe a phrase. But in Andean music, the vibrato, for example, it's something that is very present almost all the time. Okay, you can't express yourself in Andean music without using that kind of vibrato, like that big and fast vibrato whenever you play. Just a fact, a history fact. When Pinochet, the Chilean dictator Pinochet, came into the power, he prohibited the quena to be played in Chile, and he prohibited the quena players to do vibrato because it was very emotional and it flourished through the people, the revolutionary thoughts about destroying the military system that he was trying to construct. So yeah, it's something very important, the vibrato, whenever you play this music. So here is a score of what I played. There is no nomenclature system for Andean music. There is not a standard way of writing Andean music, just as the same as there is no standard way of writing Irish music, Irish trad music. What a lot of players now, they read music, and all the ornamentation they do, they try to write it in the classical way, like the trill, the mordente, appoggiatura, and everything. But loads of those ornaments are lost in the score. Okay, if you go hear me playing and try to read this, I do a lot of other stuff that is not written in there. Just like Baroque music, just like Irish music, that it's a language that's so difficult to write. Okay, so lots of these tunes are written in a system that they just write the notes. So for example, fa, re, do, la, sol, fa, re, do, la, sol, fa, re, la, fa, re. I was just saying the first line. Okay, so that's kind of way they write it. All right. I think there are non-musicians people in here. Okay, so I will try to explain myself so anybody can understand what I'm trying to say. So the quena versus the recorder. The quena, like I said before, it requires lip embouchure. The recorder is a triple flute instrument. The recorder doesn't have that block when you play. The quena, you have to form the embouchure with your lips to be able to do a sound. Like you have to work this, okay? With the recorder, you just blow and it will sound, okay? That's what makes the distinction of triple instrument, just as the ocarina. The ocarina as well is a triple instrument, right? The whistle as well. It has both of them have a hole for the thumb finger, and it's a very important hole because it marks the difference between color. It marks the difference between the octaves that you want to do, what you want to play, and one of the distinctions about their way of playing is that both of them required tongue articulation. For example, if I play Irish music like with using tongue articulation, it doesn't sound Irish. It doesn't sound Irish at all because Irish music doesn't require that much tongue articulation. Whatever. But when you play the recorder or you play the quena and its own music, you need to do that articulation, the te te te, de de de, for the recorder sometimes diddle diddle dee. So it's very similar. So we have now something similar between the two instruments in the way of playing. Both of them have a very huge versatility in terms of playing because they don't have keys. So you can do a lot of different ornamentation that can't be done in an instrument like the flute, like the Bohem system flute, because it has keys. The big glissandos, you can notice in the video that I showed that I did some glissandos, for example. That kind of movement, and you can do them on the recorder, on the whistle, and all the ornamentation that you can do on the Kena, you can do really well them on the recorder and on the whistle as well. Okay, so. So it's a very versatile instrument. And like I said, huge use of finger ornamentation and tongue ornamentation, depending on whatever style of music you are doing. What I have noticed for myself, that I am recorder and whistle player, I'm flute player as well, but a little bit less than recorder and whistle, is that it's much more easier for me to play Andean music on the recorder. It has more possibilities in terms of different keys, of different notes, but on the whistle it sounds really well. I will show a few examples later. Okay. I don't know how I'm with the time. I'm all right with the time, or do I have to speak faster? Or
it's almost an hour, so
oh,
yeah.
Okay, I will try to do it quickly.
Okay, no worries.
So difficulties on the recorder and the tin whistle when playing Andean music. So first of all, the tuning. Okay, tuning, understanding tuning as the our tuning nowadays. Okay, because before the pre-Hispanic Kena or even the Mestizo Kena, it has their own system of tuning, but the Andean music requires a lot of air and a lot of strong air, cold air. You can blow soft air, or cold air, but this music requires a lot of cold air, strong air. So for the recorder and tin whistle, it's sometimes if you blow more than the instrument itself permits you, it goes high in tuning. It helps a lot with the recorder. Okay, it really goes up. So you have to control really well that kind of tone and that kind of wind whenever you want to play this kind of music. Okay, and the vibrato is another thing that if you do a lot of vibrato, but a strong vibrato on the recorder or the whistle, you will go out of tune as well. I would like now to show the example number 5 just a little bit, and you will see that it's with all respect, it's one of my favorite bands. They are a rock band. They are not an Andean traditional band. They are a rock band, but they do a lot of Andean music mixed with rock, and they are just fantastic players. But here you will notice that the recorder players tries to play with that strong sound, but the recorder sometimes it goes out a little bit. Okay.
vengo de la cordillera.
Okay, thank you. So yes, you can notice that they are fantastic musicians. What they do is amazing. They are so musical. But you can notice that the recorder player wanted to blow a little bit harder, and the instruments sometimes just push itself back. Okay, so you have to control a lot the way you play the recorder or the tin whistle on this music. Sound, color, and tone. The Andean traditional players, just maybe sometimes the Irish flute players, they search for strong tone, full of harmonics, instead of the clean tone that the recorder has. And like I said before, like the ornamentations and the difference between Baroque music for the recorder and Irish traditional music for the tin whistle are very different. What the Andean musician does, okay? I will say that they have loads of similarities in terms of a kind of fingering thing, but they are called different and they are used for different purposes, okay? So what I try to do myself, I always try to mix things. Whenever I play the whistle or I play Andean music on the whistle, I try to put Irish ornaments in the Andean music, or whenever I'm playing Irish music, sometimes I put some Andean ornaments in Irish music. And what I try to do whenever I play is that it should sound for me and for the listener very organic. It shouldn't sound like forced application of the ornaments. No, it should sound like something natural. Sound like the tune requires those ornaments for itself. Okay. And one of the most difficulties that I have found is the acceptance. The acceptance in both traditions. Like if you want to play Irish music on the cane, it's like, let's try to give it a here. Or if you want to play Andean music on the flute for cane players or the whistle for cane players, at first they have that kind of, they don't accept it for first instance, but if you do it like properly, they will really love it. And I have played here with lots of different players, with Charango Kena players, Sampoña players, and fantastic musicians. And it's something I would really love to expand the recorder and the tin whistle in here, in our Andean tradition. Okay. So my research and objectives is to create connections between Andean traditional music and Irish traditional music. That's one of my main goals. So giving place to the invasion of new methods and ways of expression for my own musical instruments that are the recorder and the whistle. I play other wind instruments, but those are my main ones. Through cross-cultural connections, understanding the long tradition of both musical styles. Okay, so there is I would like to share a video of a whistle player that I admire a lot. His name is Brian Finnegan. And he did a trip here to Chile, and he played an Andean tune with two friends of mine called Ernesto and Yanela, and they recorded this tune. He plays this Andean music on the tin whistle, and he's an Irish player, but he does it really, really well. And he put some Irish ornaments, and he put some ornaments by itself, like I think say by instinct, but he does it really, really well, and it sounds fantastic, the whistle. Can we hear it, please? Sorry. No, not that one.
There we go.
Thank you. And just to finish this presentation, I would like to show another video as well of myself playing a Bolivian traditional tune called Flor de Caña. And what I try to do is to put it just beside an Irish reel. So you will hear the rhythm of this Bolivian tune, very similar to an Irish jig in 6/8, like a Galician niñeira. In putting a same set with an Irish reel in 4/4. This was recorded in pandemics for a project I was doing and for my own research for the PhD. Well, you will see my kids running around, but anyway, here we go. Thank you very much. Sorry, one of my kids in here. So sorry. Thanks to you, Adrian. Thank you very much for being here. Anyway, so I just wanted to show that video just to give an end to this chat or conference or talk, whatever you want to call it. And yes, any questions, I'm here available. And I would like just to finish, thank you everybody from listening, from being here. And thanks to Vlad, Janit, Mirilla, and Carla for all the organization of the goodwilling and all the patience that they have with me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for your presentation and sharing to us all this about recording and Tin Whistle. So now everybody feel free to share your questions and David will answer you. We still have like a few minutes, so thank you again. You can unmute yourself and share the questions on video and voice if you want.
While all of you are thinking of those questions, I wanted to make sure that we give a very, very big thank you to our interns, in particular today, Mireia, for taking the helm of the whole lecture technology and presentation, whilst the two directors of Hipster are traveling in two different directions. So thank you so much, Mireia. And thank you to Mireia and Carla both for all the work that they do for Hipster, for the festival, and for Now and Then Media. It's always a very important work. So if no one else has any other questions, I want to thank David, and I want to say it's been fascinating to see how many cross points there are between the different dances on two sides of the Atlantic, on the between so many different mountain ranges in this world, that sometimes there are common points and great points of difference. And it's wonderful to see how sometimes they live together very well, and sometimes they have, well, things that are just very their own and not always going to be reconciled. But that's the beauty of things. Sometimes it really lies in the differences and the nuance. So thank you for sharing all of that with us. No other questions? And yes, from Yonit, reminding that a very warm welcome to all the students who are joining from University of Limerick and the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance. I'm glad that you could join us today. So remember, everyone, we're going to be putting up this video in the Eventbrite. It's linked through the same ticket that you accessed today. So anytime you want to go back to hear any of this, and if you hold a series ticket, you go in through the series ticket as well, and you can see all of the different lectures in our series, past, on recording, and future. Don't forget that there is one more coming up, and that's just going to be in a couple of weeks, I believe. It's a short time until our next one, and our special guest joining us from Australia on the 12th of March, Sunday at 11 o'clock, I think it is, our time in Ireland, 11 o'clock GMT and Irish time. That's going to be Brooke Green, composer, viola da gamba player, and she will be sharing many beautiful things with us and very interesting facts about what she's doing in the world of composition and performance. So please do join us 12th of March at 11 GMT, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.